another episode of Mr and Mrs Chee. This week, we have a little bit of something special that is initiated by our beloved Mrs Chee. So today the topic will be about parenthood. Most of you who have watched our channel, you know that we just got our second baby boy. So with a 2-year-old Caitlin and a newborn Caden, a lot of questions have been asking us and how do we cope with these two children, with our job and a 2-year-old and a newborn.
The first question is, how do we handle biasness between the two kids? Mr. Chee?
Biasness. Actually right now, the bias is pretty obvious that I will prefer play with Caitlin than Caden, mainly because she is more playful now, and Caden is obviously a newborn, which he needs his mother more than his father. So the only thing I can provide is a pair of hands to change his diaper. That's the best I can do. Whereas the mummy, you understand lah, huh? Okay, so yeah, that's not really bias, it's just what I can do for both of them.
For me, I am more towards Caden right now, like what Mr. Chee say. He needs me more. Of course, it's because of, he needs something to grow. And Caitlin has his daddy to play with her, so not really needed for me. In parenthood, every parents have different views and opinions on how they bring up their children. So of course, for Mr and Mrs Chee, we have different views as well. The next question will be, how do we actually work things out when we come to different views? So there was this incident which happened long time ago that we were trying to let Caitlin have sleep training. So Mr. Chee way was actually to let her do the cry out way. If parents have experienced this, it will be very heartbreaking. So I actually disagree to this way by letting the kids cry, but Mr. Chee agrees that, saying that, kids will sleep when they are tired. Kids will eventually sleep when they are tired. They cry only when they need milk and their diapers has been changed. So we actually have a very big fight on this issue and was on like Cold War for a week. Are we?
Maybe.
About there lah, huh? Oh, about there. So normally people know that we are very lovey. We don't fight. The most we only, slap each other. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we have a big fight, a Cold War for a week, and we actually sort it out on the table, basically on the dining table, and sat in front of each other and really say things out. So after which, everything turned out fine. And the method continues for Caitlin using the cry out method. So 一人让一步, and she's doing perfectly fine now. So we actually resolve it by sitting on a desk to 摊牌, 摊牌. Yeah. Mr. Chee.
Yeah, actually, basically what I believe most in all couples are back to the basis is communications. You have to communicate with each other. Respect each other's opinion. Okay, don't be so persistent on what you want to do for your child, or what you want to do something. Be respectful with one another, and try to talk things out, iron things out, and don't keep it to yourself. Mostly we will have issues with kids, and sometimes let kids be kids. Kids will definitely do something right and something wrong. My thinking is, let kids be kids. Let them do wrong things, let them fall down in a safe environment, and hopefully they will learn something from it, so next time they will repeat the mistakes. And so that's when Mrs. Chee have some opinion on it. And this kind of environment is how I grew up, so I think it's really necessary for them to fall down. Not literally fall down, fall down at their younger age, so they'll grow up at stronger in their when they are older lah. So this is what communication, talk, 用嘴巴讲话。
I think also because Mr. Chee grows up in a very different environment compared to myself. So in my environment, I don't experience such, such kind of trainings. So when I really actually see how Mr. Chee does it to our kids, it's a bit heartbreaking. Not a bit, very heartbreaking. And initial part, I really couldn't accept it. So yeah, so it depends on parents, see how you want to manage it yourself as well. Alright, the next question is in parenthood, myself, I have a full-time job. For Mr. Chee, he's actually doing freelance, but of course, besides that, we have another role as a parent. So how do you think how well you manage with your job and being a daddy at home? What is the percentage of?
Basically for Caitlin and Kaden, they both receive the same treatment. Yeah, so when they are, even Kaden now, when they are just a few months old, I try to take as much time off as possible to really spend time with them to help out Mrs. Chee, because basically for Caitlin, I shower her almost entire day and the entire every day for the entire 3 months, I think. Yeah, so I have to take care of Caitlin for the first 3 months. Mrs. Chee wouldn't dare to really hands-on to be a proper mom. But now she is doing better compared to the first time. I believe with experience and maybe he's a boy lah, so not so fragile lah, I don't know. She is more willingly to change diapers, go shower him, and quite a lot of things that quite a lot of improvement from Caitlin's experience.
So for myself, I'm actually on maternity leave right now. Of course, like what Mr. Chee said, has been hands-on more towards compared to when I have Caitlin, because when I have Caitlin, I was really very freaked out. I was like, she's so small, so tiny, You couldn't even ask me to go and change her diapers. I'm so scared I might break her bones. Probably I have too much strength. But for Kaden, maybe it's because like he said, he's a boy and I have some experience. So I actually managed to do most of the things. I even clear his poo-poo, which is like one whole chunk of curry sauce there, It's like he overloaded he overloaded his diapers yesterday, and I was the one cleaning his backside. So for balancing out wise, I think it's 50-50, because when my maternity leave ends, I have to go back to work. I need to concentrate on my work, and of course after my work ends, the first thing I'll come back is to rush to my baby boy, and instead of my husband here, so he's a bit neglected. It's okay.
A lot, not a bit.
It's okay. I still love you. You see, I still love you, Toby. The last question for this episode will be, how do we term right and wrong way in parenthood?
There is no perfect answer to this question. Every kids, they are very different. When people give you advice on something else, just take it as a pinch of salt and listen it as a reference, but don't follow it entirely, especially when you Google something about kids, whatever. That's what she always does. Okay, so it's good to have that kind of knowledge, but on the other hand, it's also important to observe your kids and deal with him or her accordingly to what you prefer. Okay, the kid belongs to you, not the people in the internet, not the people who give you advice. The kid is yours. Okay, so the decision you make for the kids is your responsibility. Okay, so what I will always do is how I grow up. It's like swimming, for an example. Like I will put Caitlin in a swimming pool, let her swim, let her drink water. Mrs. Chee always worry about her. What I always tell Mrs. Chee is, nobody will learn swimming without drinking any water from the pool.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Okay? Nobody learns how to ride bicycle without falling down.
For me, if you were to look back to our previous videos, we actually have done up 2 videos as a life as a daddy and life as a mummy. So I do agree with Mr. Chee saying that there's no right and wrong, because through that video we actually do things very differently. At the end of the day, what we done as a parent is actually want the kids to have the best of the best. So yeah, just go by your heart, go by your instinct, do what you think is right, and don't be afraid to be judged by people. We have come to the end of this episode. We hope you enjoy so far and you learned something. If you have any things that you want us to share, you can leave a comment at the bottom and we will get back to you and share it in the next video. So do like and subscribe to Mr and Mrs Chee to get more updates from us. We'll see you next week, next round. Bye.
Good luck, parents out there. Cannot sleep.